Your baby's brain at birth is only about 25% developed. Think of it as a house with the foundation poured, but no walls, no plumbing, no wiring yet. The rest of that development happens in relationship with you, especially during the first year. And here's the part that changes everything. The part of the brain responsible for calming down, the prefrontal cortex, won't even begin to function properly until your baby is around 3 or 4 years old. That means your baby cannot self-soothe in the way adults imagine. They don't have the hardware for it yet. So when you hear self-soothing, what we're really talking about is co-regulation. Your baby uses your nervous system as a template to learn how to settle. Think of it like a thermostat. Your baby's internal thermostat is broken at birth. It can't regulate temperature on its own. So you become the thermostat. When you pick them up, rock them, sing to them, your calm breathing and slow heartbeat literally cue their body to lower cortisol and release oxytocin. That's not spoiling, that's teaching. Every time you respond to a cry with warmth, you're building a neural pathway that says, when I feel scared or alone, safety arrives. That pathway becomes the foundation for genuine self-soothing later, because the baby who has been soothed learns what calm feels like in their own body. You've probably heard that sleep training means letting your baby cry it out, that there's no other way to teach them to sleep through the night. But here's the counterintuitive fact. Research shows that babies who are soothed to sleep actually develop stronger self-soothing skills later on, not weaker ones. This isn't just about getting more sleep tonight. This is about how your baby's brain builds the foundation for emotional regulation and trust in the world, skills they'll carry into toddlerhood and beyond. So if you've been told that picking up your crying baby is spoiling them, why does science say the opposite? Think of it like teaching someone to swim. You don't throw them in the deep end and hope they figure it out. You hold them, let them feel the water, and slowly let go when they're ready. Your baby's nervous system is exactly the same. It needs your calm presence to learn how to settle itself. And here's where the stakes get bigger than you might expect. How you respond to your baby's cries at night isn't just shaping their sleep habits. It's literally wiring their stress response system. A baby who learns that crying brings comfort develops a secure attachment, which predicts better emotional health, focus, and even academic success years down the road. So the gentle methods aren't just kind, they're biologically smarter. Now here's the evolutionary context. For 99% of human history, babies never slept alone. They were held, carried, or slept next to their mothers. The idea of a baby in a separate room crying alone is a very recent, very Western experiment. And the data is sobering. A 2011 study from the University of Notre Dame found that babies who were left to cry it out showed elevated cortisol levels even after they stopped crying, meaning they had learned to shut down, not to calm down. Their bodies were still in stress mode, but they had stopped signaling because no one came. That's not self-soothing. That's learned helplessness. And it doesn't build the secure attachment that predicts better emotional health, focus, and academic success. It erodes it. Let me give you a specific study that makes this concrete. In 2016, researchers at the University of Melbourne compared two groups of babies. One group whose parents used a gentle camping out method, staying in the room, gradually reducing physical contact, and another group whose parents used extinction, cry it out. At 3 months follow-up, both groups had similar sleep improvements, but here's what the headlines missed. The gentle method group showed no spike in cortisol, no stress response, and parents reported lower anxiety and higher confidence. The Cry It Out group? Babies showed elevated stress markers even after they had learned to sleep. The gentle method wasn't slower, it was just kinder to the nervous system. Now here's where I want you to feel the weight of this. Our culture has told you that responding to your baby's cries at night will create a bad habit or make them dependent. But the science says the exact opposite. A 2017 study from Harvard tracked infants whose parents responded quickly to nighttime cries. By 12 months, those babies actually cried less overall and showed more mature sleep patterns than babies whose parents waited or ignored cries. Why? Because the babies who were soothed learned that sleep is safe. Their brains didn't have to stay on high alert, waiting for comfort that might not come. They could relax into sleep, knowing you were there. Before we get into the practical week-by-week steps you can start tonight, let me pause here. If you want to keep replacing guilt with real understanding, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel is built for. Now let's get into what this means for your baby's brain in the long run. The research on attachment tells us that babies who experience consistent, warm nighttime responses develop what's called a secure base, a psychological safety net that lets them explore the world with confidence. This isn't just about sleep. It's about wiring your baby's stress response system to be resilient rather than reactive. A baby whose cries are met with comfort learns that the world is predictable and responsive. That shapes their amygdala, the brain's fear center, to be less reactive over time. And that predicts everything from better focus in preschool to lower anxiety in adulthood. So when you pick up your crying baby at 2 a.m., you're not failing at sleep training. You're building a brain that knows how to trust, how to calm, and how to rest. And that's the most scientifically sound foundation for sleep and for life that you could possibly give them. So what does this actually look like in practice? Here is exactly what to do, week by week, starting tonight, week 1 to 4, the Connection Foundation. Your job this first month is not to change your baby's sleep. It's to change your response. Every single night when your baby cries, you go to them within 30 seconds. You pick them up, hold them close, and speak in a low, slow voice. I'm here. You're safe. I've got you. You rock them until their breathing slows, until their little body relaxes into yours. What's happening in your baby's brain during this? Their amygdala, the alarm system, is learning that a cry does not mean danger. It means connection. Each time you respond, you're lowering cortisol and releasing oxytocin, the bonding hormone that literally calms the nervous system. This feels counterintuitive because every fiber of your exhausted body wants to just set the baby down and walk away. Stay with me here. The reason this works is that your baby cannot learn to sleep unless they first learn that sleep is safe. And safety isn't taught by absence, it's taught by presence. Here's your permission sentence for this phase. You cannot spoil a newborn by responding to their needs. You can only build trust. Week 5 to 8, the gradual wind down. Now you introduce a consistent bedtime routine that signals to your baby's brain that sleep is coming. Same 3 steps, same order every night. A warm bath, a gentle massage with lotion, and then 5 minutes of rocking while you sing the same lullaby. The bath raises their body temperature slightly. The massage activates their parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch, and the rocking mimics the movement they felt in the womb. Here's the counterintuitive layer. You're not trying to make them sleepy with this routine. You're trying to make them feel safe enough to let go of consciousness. Their brain is learning a sequence: warm water, gentle touch, your voice, then darkness. That sequence becomes a neural shortcut to calm. You might feel like you're just going through motions while your baby still fusses. That's okay. You're building the runway. Permission sentence? You don't have to see results tonight. You're wiring for weeks from now. Week 9 to 12, the camping out method. This is where the science really pays off. You put your baby down drowsy but awake in their crib, and instead of leaving, you sit in a chair right next to them. The first few nights, you stay until they're fully asleep. Then you move the chair 2 feet away, then to the doorway, then just outside the door. Each move takes 3 to 4 nights. What's happening in your baby's brain is extraordinary. They're learning that your presence doesn't have to mean physical contact. They're building what researchers call object permanence for comfort. The knowledge that you're nearby even when they can't see you. This feels wrong because your instinct says, if they're crying, you should pick them up. Stay with me. The reason this works is that you're teaching their brain to bridge the gap between your presence and their own settling. You're not abandoning them. You're slowly handing them the thermostat. Permission sentence. Moving your chair away is not rejection. It's the most loving form of scaffolding. Step 4. The fade out. Once your baby can fall asleep with you across the room, you start fading your soothing. Instead of rocking them fully to sleep, you rock them until they're calm but still awake, then put them down. Instead of picking them up at every cry, you place your hand on their chest and shush softly. You stay present, but you stop being the primary source of motion and sound. This is where your baby's brain finally builds its own calming pathways. When you just place your hand on their belly instead of scooping them up, their prefrontal cortex, that part that won't fully develop for years, starts making a tiny connection. I can feel calm even without being held. This feels terrifying because you'll worry you're abandoning them. But you're not. You're teaching them that comfort can come from your presence, not just your arms. Permission sentence. A hand on their chest is still connection. You are not disappearing. You're just shifting how you show up. The fact that you made it through this entire video, that you cared enough to learn the science, to question the old advice, to sit with the discomfort of doing something different, that tells me everything I need to know about the kind of parent you are. You are not the parent who takes shortcuts. You are the parent who does the harder thing because it's the right thing. And your baby knows that. They know it in their bones, in their nervous system, in the way their body relaxes when you walk into the room. Every single time you chose to respond instead of ignore, you weren't creating a bad habit. You were building a foundation of trust so deep that your baby will carry it into every relationship they ever have. The fact that your baby still cries sometimes isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're doing the most courageous work a parent can do. You're staying present through the hard parts. And that is exactly what your baby needs to learn, that the world is safe enough to sleep in. You now know that your baby's brain literally cannot self-soothe until age 3 or 4. So what looks like learning to sleep in cry-it-out methods is actually learned helplessness. You now know that gentle methods like camping out and fading produce the same sleep results as cry-it-out, but without the cortisol spike and with lower parental anxiety. You now know that responding to your baby's cries actually builds the neural pathways for genuine self-soothing later, because a baby who has been soothed knows what calm feels like in their own body. You now know that the bedtime routine isn't about making your baby sleepy. It's about creating a neural shortcut to safety. You now know that moving your chair across the room is not abandonment, but the most loving form of scaffolding. And you now know that every time you place your hand on your baby's chest, instead of scooping them up, you're teaching their brain that comfort can come from your presence, not just your arms. Send this video to a parent who has been told they're spoiling their baby by responding to nighttime cries. Send it to the mom who feels guilty for picking her baby up, or the dad who's been pressured to let his baby cry it out by well-meaning family members. And subscribe if you want to keep understanding your baby the way they actually work, not the way old advice says. Because when you know the science, you can finally trust your instincts, and your instincts have been right all along.